It's 2 p.m. Detroit, and you know what that means. Detroit media icon Ryan Ermanni, University of Michigan great Braylon Edwards, and of course, Maz are about to take over on Woodward Sports. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m., it's the best Detroit sports talk on Detroit's best sports network, Woodward Sports.
Hey, let's go! Thursday show, July 25th, 2024. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com. We're on YouTube as well. We hope you hit that like button and subscribe to Woodward Sports. Over 66,000 subscribers on this platform. That's where most people find us, here at Woodward Sports on YouTube. Braylon Edwards, good afternoon to you, my friend.
Good afternoon. I won't take up a lot of time. We know we're here for. The people are asking. So Ryan Ermanni, Tom Masway, good to see you. I'll let you get to it. What are the people asking about, Ryan?
Right. So a couple people in the chat already. We've got Hulk Hogan on our thumbnail. That's what we call the picture on YouTube. We are efforting Hulk Hogan. We are scheduled to be joined by him. I don't know if it's going to happen. He's got 11 events over the next couple of days. He's at one right now in St. Clair Shores. There's like 400 people there.
Yeah.
I don't know if all 14 people all 400 people get the picture, or if they
Right.
they stay on schedule.
Where's he in the shores?
He's at Wyandotte right now.
Oh, that's right down the block from me.
I know. And then I think tomorrow he's going to be in the Shores as well at 13 and Harper.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
He's
So,
dancing in you guys'
that's
area
my
a little
hood.
bit.
Yeah, he was all over the place today. He was at Lions camp today.
Let me tell you something, brother.
Right. You know, it's so funny too.
Yeah.
Just to be frank about like Hulk Hogan. Like, obviously, you know, he spoke at the Republican National Convention.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since then, it's like
The resurgence.
there is just here. I grew up. I had two non-sports heroes. One was Rocky Balboa. I will always call him Rocky Balboa and not Sylvester Stallone.
I agree.
And the other was Hulk Hogan. And I don't call him Terry Bollea either.
Not at all.
Yeah.
You know, these are fictional characters that you love. You know who else is friends with the other guy? Just come to find out is Sylvester Stallone. You know, I mean,
Rocky 3.
I'm surprised to see.
Thunderlips, right?
Yeah,
There you go.
I am surprised to see some of the stuff online.
Oh, give me a break.
Like I am.
Separate your stuff.
I am surprised to see some of the stuff online. I am about, you know, Lions are.
Some Lion fans
Right.
are upset that Hulk Hogan went to Lions camp and did a Dan Campbell, spot
Right.
because he would talk at the Republican National Convention. In other words, the people that don't like Trump, now they don't like Hulk Hogan because of what he did at the Republican National Convention. He's a character. You know, he's a character.
Campbell Mania runs wild on you, brother. What you gonna do?
Now, speaking of characters, if Robert De Niro, Braylon, was at Lions camp and did a promo with
Scarface.
No, that's Al Pacino.
Yeah.
Him
But,
too.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if like Bob De Niro was
Right.
there, would it be like this?
George Clooney.
Or George Clooney showed up and was hanging out with Sheila? Would there just be this groundswell of
No.
like it's
No.
just like, man, they're just characters. Like,
In other words, Clooney is a big Democrat. Hulk Hogan's a big Republican. All of a sudden,
well, by the way, honestly, never even considered him a political figure before a
neither.
week
Right.
ago.
Yeah.
me neither.
Before 1 week ago, I never even thought of him as a political figure.
Yeah.
The way I look at it is like, look, you got to be able to compartmentalize certain things. Like Hulk Hogan is one of those things from my childhood. 1987, Pontiac Silverdome, we talk about all the time. WrestleMania 3, what he did with Andre the Giant. NWO, what he did with the heel change. Insert WrestleMania 18, The Rock versus him, his last go ride, which I definitely wanted to ask him about. But that's a part of my childhood. That's a part of what I love. I love Hulk Hogan for those things. And you're not talking about Terry Bollea, like you said. You're talking about a character. You're talking about a part of just a character in a fictional place that holds special places in the heart. Outside of that, I can differ in opinion to what he decides to do, who he decides to support. He's not the first person that's supporting a Republican that I like, that I'm going to like, that I like in terms of what they did. You got to be able to compartmentalize these things. He supports the Lions. He wants to hang out with Dan Campbell. So be it. Who he's running for in this space. It doesn't matter. This isn't a political deal. This is talking about something else. So you got to be able to separate the two.
Yeah.
I mean, so much of where we are, to me, and not to get crazy, but it's hard not to because of all the stuff online today, and Hulk Hogan bad. It's to me everything that's wrong with what's going on right now. Yeah. We can't sit down and talk to each other. No. We're not even going to talk to you. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you bad, me good. You know what I mean? It's like neither side has. By the way, neither side has this like, you're not the arbiter of truth. Mm-hmm. Neither side has that. I'm sorry.
They're both all crooks.
Yeah.
They're all crooks.
Right.
Yeah.
They're all crooks. That's why I don't watch the news. I don't listen to the news. I don't care.
It's just you can't follow something that you can't look at somebody, let's say Michael Jordan or a person like that or Tiger Woods. No matter how great they are, no matter how great they are and what you love about them, there are a lot of things you don't like that they do. You may not be a gambler. You don't like the fact that Michael Jordan does that. You don't like the fact that people cheat on their wives. You don't have to agree with everything a person does. That doesn't take away the fact that Tiger Woods is the best golfer of all time or Michael Jordan's the best basketball player of all time, and you love what they did. Hell, man, you love OJ. A lot of OJ people.
You're right.
A lot of people think OJ killed that. Wink, wink.
Of course.
So you can separate things, and in this space, Hulk Hogan was what he was. He's an icon. They got, to be honest, sports entertainment where they intersect, because now sports is entertainment.
Right.
Well, it started in WWF in 1980s, the entertainment part of it. So you can appreciate that and not like something else.
That's a mic drop for you right there.
Seriously. And by the way, as an American citizen, thankfully, you do have the right to support whichever
you have choice.
Political candidate you want to do.
Who you want.
Right. This ain't Russia.
Right.
This ain't Russia. Nobody's getting 98% of the popular vote. You know what I mean? The other 2% are getting killed. Yeah. Okay?
Exactly.
This ain't Russia.
If you vote the wrong way, you're all done.
And if you hate that part about this country, bye. Yeah. Go over there, see how that works for you. Seriously. So anyway, just wanted to get that out there.
I got good news for you guys.
Yeah.
I just read today on, I forgot what it was. It was John Orand who writes for like a Financial Times. And I read that Bally's and Comcast are talking.
I saw that.
And they could have a deal in place very soon to start broadcasting the Detroit Tigers again on Bally Sports if you have Xfinity. So we said it might happen. And my good friend Grace, 96 years old, in St. Clair Shores, can hopefully turn on her Tigers again here pretty soon.
Yeah, I saw that, Maz, and just a point about that. I think it would be extremely important for that to happen. I saw that as well, and of course, I don't have it in front of me right now to pull it up, but it would be...
Look on your text, that is.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, here it is, actually. It's Diamond Sports Group and Comcast progressing on a deal to air MLB games, potentially bringing Bally Sports channels to fans throughout the country. That's according to ESPN, and there's a story written about that. That would be important because I think there are still so many different cable networks throughout the country that once the broadcasting rights went away, Bray, they never came back. And I think especially, well, again, this isn't about Detroit. That's the one thing about this that has been so misunderstood. There's 13 other cities involved here, or 12 other cities, including Detroit, that are involved in this. Comcast is one of the major, if not the biggest major cable providers in the country. How you cannot have a deal? These teams have to be putting pressure on Comcast and the league to make a deal.
They definitely got to be putting pressure on the leagues. Maz, why isn't there a go-between maybe an ambassador, somebody that works, somebody that understands how important Bally's is to Detroit, to those other 12 cities, and to the league in terms of growing the brand, in terms of growing brand
Should be the commissioner of baseball.
It's got to be an ambassador that's going between Comcast, or excuse me, what is it, Diamond
and Xfinity.
Diamond and Xfinity. Somebody that's going between them and the deals that they're getting paid. It's like, let's get this done. You're losing viewership. You're losing fans. You talk about the growth. I mean, you're growing the brand. Look what the All-Star was. The All-Star game was the largest All-Star between the four. You want this growing in the right direction. You got to have consistent eyes on the brand. To have consistent eyes on the brand, you got to have a consistent product. So we got to have an ambassador to get this deal done.
No doubt about it.
Tough loss last night. Another one-run loss. 2-1 they lose Jack Flaherty pitched awesome. That's the second 2-1 game he's lost to Cleveland just this year. And we all know Jack Flaherty should have probably 12 wins this year alongside Tarek Skubal. There's a good chance that we might have saw him for the last time last night. We'll see how this trade deadline goes. They're up 3-0 right now in the fourth on Cleveland.
Yeah, Javi
Getaway
Baez
day.
with a 3-run homer.
Yep. Doubled his home run total.
Absolutely. Went from 1 to 2, Maz.
But he slammed it, man.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He heard they were going to eat his contract and get rid of him.
Yeah, he was batting ninth yesterday.
That's right. They are on a track now after today's game. They'll have the longest homestand that they have all season. You know, they got Minnesota and the Guardians. And then Tuesday's the deadline. We'll see what happens. Maz, you sold me a little bit yesterday on just the idea of getting rid of Skubal just because of the belief that 2 years from now you're probably going to trade him anyway.
Correct.
And you're not going to get as much for him then as you are now, because in your estimation, Chris Ilitch is not spending $400 million on any one player. That's what you believe. If that is a hard, fast line in the sand for Chris Ilitch, and I don't know that it is, maybe it is, I probably lean towards that, then that would probably be the right thing to do this year.
It's more than double that they paid Javi Baez, and look how that deal turned out.
Right. So
don't tell me he has a bad taste in his mouth.
Yeah, and look, Jack Flaherty, the only problem is, legitimately, you do have the rest of the season to play, Bray.
Yeah.
You're already down Reese Olson. Kenta Maeda went to the bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
You have a bullpen day today.
Mize is coming back.
You're going to have another one on Sunday. You do have to field the team. And I'm not sure they have guys to bring up in AAA for sure.
Right.
You're going to have to fast track somebody.
Job.
You're gonna have to fast track somebody in AA. They're just not going to do that. You said no Jackson Job.
It just doesn't seem like the year to fast track. You know, all year we've been hearing about guys just not ready yet down there in the minors. They're just not ready to move up to the team. You've been needing not weapons. You've been needing bats all season. You've been needing consistent fielding, and they haven't had guys to be ready. So now at this time where you're losing the players that can play, you can't reach back and try to pull these guys up and put more on them than they're ready to have. So the Tigers, yet again, closing in on the deadline, are in a rough spot. Tough spot, excuse me, not rough.
Hey, I hit Costco on my way in today for a quick slice.
Oh, sure.
And on my way out, I saw a fan of Woodward Sports, Sean from Clarkston.
No kidding,
He
Sean.
said, "Hey, Woodward Sports, Maz, what's going on, man?" So I
Sean from Clarkston.
walked out with him. I think he spent about $600 or so in his cart. But he wanted to shout out to all you guys out here in Woodward Sports. So shout out to you, Sean.
Shout out to Interns Joel coming in.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We appreciated it. Of course, the great Pete Spivak. KG is with us. James, Joel, we got a whole crew here today.
Joel's got a good schedule, man.
Yeah, he does.
He does whatever he wants.
We'll
Yeah,
table
pretty
some
good.
Tigers talk. Game currently going on. We'll get you updates on that. Do want to get to the Lions. Carlton Davis, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Amik Robertson, Traquan Smith, all removed from the active non-football injury list today. Dan Miller coming up, by the way, at 2:30. Or in about 17 minutes from now if you're not watching live. But, DPJ is an interesting one. We always talk about that third receiver or that second receiver or, can J-Mo, and it looks like J-Mo will be the second receiver. But this wide receiver core, do they need another receiver, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people do forget that Donovan Peoples-Jones was signed in the offseason as a free agent to come back here in Detroit. I think they are very comfortable with him being the quote-unquote third receiver on this team with a full offseason, with a full training camp, and into the season. I think they're very comfortable with him. I think people forget about what he can do.
You start with the University of Michigan. The University of Michigan, Donovan Peoples-Jones was a pure number one. He was a number one, and if he was in a different type of passing system, this is when Michigan always running the ball, he would have had a much better career at the wide receiver position. Gets into Cleveland. He had 800 yards one season with 6 touchdowns. So it lets you know he's comfortable playing. He's comfortable making plays for a team that needs that. That's in the number one role, Ryan Ermanni, because Juice Landry was hurt that year. So you're talking about somebody that's comfortable being in the number one role. You put him in the number 3 role with his raw athletic ability. He's had 5 years in the league now to understand how to run routes, to understand his role. He's going to be, I think, in my estimation, this isn't Michigan bias. Brad Holmes re-signed him, as you just stated. He signed him after 4 games into last season's tenure, not necessarily singing a lot, because he hadn't had time to gel with the team. He still chose to re-sign him, bring him back. So with that being said, they see something, when you have Sam Laporta, when you have with J-Mo, who we're definitely going to get to talk about, you see what he looks like thus far in camp, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, Dave Montgomery, when you have all that going on, you leave somebody like DPJ, who's the athletic specimen, one-on-one with these guys in the slot or special wide receiver routes for him, he'll kill a third cornerback or a second cornerback. So I like the move. Want to see how it plays out in training camp.
He's fourth, by the way.
Yeah.
Sam Laporta is number 3.
Well, that's where I was going to go with it, okay? Because you talk about wide receiver 3 and the importance of that room. If you look at the receptions from last year, Amon-Ra St. Brown, 1. Sam Laporta, 2. Jahmyr Gibbs, 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Josh Reynolds, okay? The person that caught the second the person that caught the 4th most receptions on the Lions last year, wide receiver 2. Okay, wide receiver 2 for the Detroit Lions last year caught 40 passes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how many passes wide receiver 3 caught last year for the Detroit Lions?
Wide receiver 3 is Jahmyr?
J-Mo.
J-Mo.
No, actually, last year was Khalif Raymond.
Yeah,
Khalif?
32?
25.
Yeah.
35.
35.
And J-Mo caught 24 passes.
Yeah.
So, you know, we all get, if there's one group
Right.
that the Lions need to improve, is it that wide receiver room? Do they have that third man? That third man, you're asking to catch 35 passes in 17 games. That's 2 a game.
Don't forget, Brock Wright is back. They had to pay him. Remember, San Francisco put a big contract out on Brock Wright.
True.
And the Lions matched it.
Yeah, he caught 13 passes. David Montgomery caught 16 passes. So David Montgomery, 8 fewer passes than your wide receiver 4.
How about that?
David Montgomery. So
there's not enough footballs to go around this team.
I think in most teams you have a wide receiver 3. If you look at Khalif Raymond's catching passes because J-Mo didn't play last year because of the suspension with the gaming. So Khalif gets a couple extra passes. Brock Wright gets a couple extra passes. They bring in Jahmyr Gibbs and learn how to use him out of the backfield. He's getting extra passes. I think this year you got guys slated in. Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to be your 1. J-Mo is going to be your 2. And DPJ will be your 3. And moving forward, there are a lot of there are a lot of players on this team, a lot of skill set positions. Not a lot of passes to go around, but I think they'll do a much better job. I think DPJ plays 3, and maybe Khalif Raymond focuses more on special plays and special teams.
And as a wide receiver, Bray, I don't think you can underscore at all the fact that these guys are in positions to succeed.
Yeah.
Jamison Williams could be a really good NFL number 2 receiver. Could he be a really good number 1 receiver? Sure, probably. But I think he'll be benefited by being a number 2 receiver. Khalif Raymond was the number 3 receiver last year.
Yeah.
If he has to be the number 3 this year, do you think he'll be okay doing that? I think so. Donovan Peoples-Jones was asked to be the number 1 wide receiver in Cleveland. And, you don't have a quarterback. You don't have maybe that number 1 wide receiver mentality or offense. He'll be just fine playing in a lesser role offensively and just making an impact when his turn comes. I think the role that you play in has to matter as well.
100%, but I think that's the thing about the Detroit Lions and where they are now. Like, their roles are do what you need to do to win a championship. Do what you need to do to get us to win this game, and then the next game, and then the next game, and then the division, and then the NFC championship. So I don't think it matters at all who's playing what, because these guys are committed to playing team ball, and it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be interesting to see who's Jared Goff this year. Because Jared Goff now has chemistry with Jamison Williams, who I'm so excited about. Brad Holmes is about to be right yet again when it comes to drafting players in the first round. But his comfort level with J-Mo, his comfort level with DPJ, his comfort level with the system, and Jahmyr Gibbs now being the number 1 back. Jared Goff is who I'm most interested to see this training camp, and how does it look with his weapons?
Jared Goff is somebody, too, that, he talked to Dan Miller yesterday. They had a Lions training camp special, and one of the things about Jared Goff is, he got paid this offseason. He got married this offseason. He's had an incredible last couple of years, last year and a half of the Detroit Lions, winning a playoff game, being within 15 minutes of a Super Bowl. This has been a really good offseason. How do you kind of, not become somebody or not?
Yeah.
How do you let that money not bother you? How do you not let, what happens at home bother you? And he said, if that starts happening to me, slap me upside the head. You know, and I think when you walk in that locker room, you do want, no matter how much money you make, you do want the guys knowing that you are one of them.
Yeah.
And it feels like Jared Goff is one of them.
I think the good thing for Jared, Maz, and Pete, tell me if I'm wrong, is it was never about money. I think there are some players it's about money, some players it's not. Jared Goff, it was never about money. It was about finding his place. It was about earning what he was worth, and it was about showing people that he was a guy that was deserving of the number one pick in the NFL draft. He's come here. He's done that. He's got, he's gotten paid, but it never was about the money. I think you talk about those weddings. He got married. Panay got married, and it looked like they had a blast at Panay's wedding, man. Them boys was out there getting wild, Jahmyr Gibbs included. But when you get married, I think it grounds you. Jared Goff got married. Panay got married.
Jack Campbell got married.
Jack Campbell got married. Everybody's around. All the teammates.
What's his, the
Laporta.
Rodrigo.
Rodrigo. Thank
Rodrigo,
you.
yeah.
He say linebacker.
And that's young.
You know when you know, I think. But, all these guys are getting married. All these guys are around each other, man. That energy is going to be vibrant through the season. It's a good time to be a Detroit Lion, a good time to be a fan of the Lions.
I want to play this sound for you. It's from Amon-Ra St. Brown, and it's one of the things that Dan Campbell really talked about today. He was asked about this, and here's what Amon-Ra St. Brown's goal is for this Detroit Lions team.
It's building to win a Super Bowl, and that's our goal, that's our focus, and everything we do from here out moving forward is to get that Super Bowl.
How was that different from last year around this time, that mindset?
Last year around this time, the year before, we were 9-8, barely missed the playoffs. So for us, I feel like going into last year was like, let's win the division, let's get into the playoffs, and once we get there, we can go get that Super Bowl. But I feel like I said, last year was let's win the division, get to the playoffs, and hopefully once we get there, we can go make a run at it. This year, it's like I said, it's obviously we want to make the playoffs. You can't win a Super Bowl without making the playoffs, but number one seed, all that stuff sounds good, but our biggest goal, our main goal is the Super Bowl, and I feel like everyone in the room is thinking the same way, and I think just the thought alone it means a lot.
So that seems to be a pretty big theme so far in the Lions camp. That's their goal, and they're putting it out there. They're speaking it out into existence. We talk so much in 2024 about manifestation, right? Manifesting, manifest this, manifest that. Well, you can't manifest it if you don't put it out in the atmosphere, and that's what these guys are doing. Dan Campbell was asked about that earlier today at his press conference, and Braylon, one of the things he said, I don't care what they're talking about. They can talk about whatever they want as long as they put the work in. If they're putting the work in, that's all I care about.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. Back in the day when I was playing, it wasn't that long ago, but back when I was playing, you just talked about game at a time. You talked about starting the season off. You talked about wanting to do the right things, a lot of that vanilla stuff that you give pressers. These guys are talking about it because they're working at it. They're working at their craft. Dan Campbell has them not afraid to say the things and the things out loud, which we've whispered about. It's the Super Bowl. We saw what this team was last year, and Nick, I can't wait to talk to Dan Miller. We saw what this team was last year, figuring it out kind of for the first time. A lot of rookies on the team last year, a lot of first-year players, and a lot of figuring out the system for this player within that system. Now you've been together for a year. Now you've been together for 2 off seasons with this offense. I can't wait to see what that looks like. They know it. They've been working hard. If you want to go after the Super Bowl, go after it. I love the fact that Dan is letting them say the things out loud. But with that being said, they're putting in the work. You see it too.
When you were in with the Jets back in 10, when you had the full season after the first AFC Championship game, when you came back that training camp after that, what were you guys talking about? Do you remember that at all? What training camp was like the year after the first AFC Championship game you lost?
Yeah, Super Bowl.
That was it.
We're talking about the Super Bowl because the way we looked at it, we got to the AFC Championship in 2009. We were a better team that day. I guess we lost, so we weren't. But we thought we were a better team than the Colts. The Colts outplayed us. They beat us in the fourth quarter. They win. They go into the Super Bowl. We knew we could hang with them. We knew that we had a chance. We were this close. We went into halftime ahead in that AFC Championship. So coming back, you add Jason Taylor, you add LaDainian Tomlinson, you add Antonio Cromartie. We're thinking pretty good about ourselves. So coming into that training camp because of OTAs, because of minicamp, because of how hard we worked that offseason, that was the first time I ever did a whole offseason with a team. I was locked and loaded that whole offseason, much as you separate the egos at the door. LaDainian Tomlinson showed up for everything. Darrelle Revis showed up for everything. Insert gold jacket player here. They showed up for everything. So when we got into game 1 against the Baltimore Ravens, we knew that we had a chance, the training camp. We knew we had a chance to get to the Super Bowl. if we just took it a game at a time and dealt with adversity. And once again, we got to the AFC Championship. We had a chance. We just didn't get it done.
What about, did Rex change that offseason? Because Dan Campbell talked about, when he was with the Giants, they were 12-4, lost in the Super Bowl. Then they come back the next year with relatively the same team and go 7-9. And that was when they started cutting practices shorter, started taking days off. Oh, you get this off, you get that off. And it just didn't work for them.
Rex was a little more certain, but he was a little more intense at the same time. I think when things were going in 2009, the first season, I actually missed the first 4 games because I got traded during that season. They started off 3-1. They started off 3-0. Started off 3-0. They didn't lose the first game. They lost. They were 3-0. Then they 3-1, and then we lost. But anyway, they were 3-1. Rex was letting them have a lot of victory Mondays. He was very lax in terms of shoulder pads. And this is early on in the season when you're not as lax. And then as the season goes on, blah, blah, blah. The second time around, he was very confident, but at the same time, we weren't getting many victory Mondays. We weren't getting many, no shoulder pads today. Let's just go helmets and shorts. Let's just go out there. Let's just do walkthrough. No, we were going through it and we were intense. And it didn't help that later on the season, we got our what's whooped by the Patriots 49-3. And that put things back into perspective. So a little more tense, but confident at the same time.
You heard what Dan Campbell said last year after the 49er loss. Like, I don't know if we can get back there next year. It's going to be hard. It was a depressing time to be a Lion fan. It was a depressing time to be a Lion player. Then he gets rejuvenated, comes in for OTAs, and you could see he's been completely cleaned out and washed out. Forget about that season. And he's like, our goal is to get back to the Super Bowl and win this thing. And now he's talking about the players that want to win a Super Bowl. And he mentioned J-Mo yesterday. J-Mo had a great day yesterday. He wound up throwing up yesterday.
Really?
He supposedly ate.
Good.
He ate something bad for lunch or breakfast. It was breakfast. And he wound up throwing up.
It's probably eggs.
Dan Campbell came on and he said,
it always does it.
Dan Campbell said as long as he's catching like he did today, he can throw up as much as he wants. I mean, he's locked in, man. And he's got these players believing that they are – it ain't last year 49ers loss anymore. That's done. Everything is full speed ahead on this season. Tough schedule, first place schedule, but I don't see anything getting in their way. I do want to win game 1 against the Rams. I think that is very important to get off to that start and beat that team.
That would be a hell of a start. Going back to what Dan Campbell said at that press conference time, I'm actually glad he said it that way. A lot of people in Detroit, they didn't understand what he meant. They thought it was like, what? It's going to be hard to get back. Wait, you guys got – they didn't understand what the message really was. What the message to the players was, it's going to be hard to get back here. Take in, pause, take in this moment, take in this loss, take in this emotion, take in this feeling. Because when you tell players it's going to be hard, you may not ever get back to this moment. You know what that does to players that want to get back to that moment, players that are together, players that have a culture. They're going to work. Soon as they're ready, they're going to work. They're going to do the things by themselves that they need to do, watch the film they need to do, work on their game the way they need to do, and then they're going to get together with the team, get the offense, you get the defense. So I think in that moment, it was more so we may not ever get a chance to get back here. You're setting the stones, you're setting the foundation in their mind. Those guys been working all off season. They got much better. So it is going to be tough. But at the same time, you put the work in, you can get to wherever you want to be.
One of the stats that I heard last year around NFC Championship time as well that just kind of blew me away and made me kind of think about, just the NFL as it stood. I cannot believe that the Dallas Cowboys have not been to the NFC Championship game since 1995. Mm-hmm. The Dallas Cowboys, you talk about getting back to the NFC Championship game. That alone, America's team.
Yep.
The Dallas Cowboys been trying to get back since 1995.
Maybe they'll wear a 25th year anniversary patch next year.
There you go. Guys, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Dan Miller scheduled to join us. We'll talk Lions with him and about those Super Bowl aspirations that a lot of people talking about out in Allen Park. But first, a message from Les Stanford Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, GMC. What happens when you run a great dealership for over 50 years? You expand and offer more products to more people. That's exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC. They offer the same great service that customers have come to know and trust. Located in Ferndale on Woodward Avenue, just south of 9 Mile. And if you're looking for a Chevy or Cadillac, Les Stanford in Dearborn, where they have been on Michigan Avenue for over 55 years. You can find the brand you want under one umbrella. LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com.
Together, let's drive.
And you can drive on over to Premier Pet Supply.
Thank you, Ryan. Family owned and operated for over 30 years, 13 Metro Detroit locations, over 60 brands of food at the lowest prices available, curbside delivery if you need it, and they've got nutritionists on call. Any questions you have about your beloved pet, give your pet the best. Don't settle for less. It's PremierPetSupply.com.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Hamp for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at LesStanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
The Ally Challenge presented by McLaren is back August 22nd through 25th at Warwick Hills and Grand Blanc. Be there for PGA Tour Champions Golf, Family Night, concerts, and more. Tickets start at just $15. Get yours at allychallenge.com today.
Congratulations to the real Coach of the Year, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Just put your head down and go to work. It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun.
Woodward Sports.
Hey, welcome back, Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazaway. It is a beautiful day in the city. My goodness, are you kidding me? Perfect day. Football weather a little bit.
It's coming. It's coming around the corner.
Well, today's not that 90-degree heat. You ever do that training camp in the 90-degree heat and humidity?
Yes. Man,
I'm sure the guys love that, Bray.
That's the one reason I was happy I wasn't drafted by the Dolphins is I don't know if I could have took that heat.
Right, no doubt. Guys, let's check in with our good friend Dan Miller, Lions radio voice, and, of course, Fox 2 Sports Director. Dan Miller, how you doing, my friend?
What's up, guys? What's happening?
Hey, Dan.
Oh, man, where are you at? I love that wall.
It's new studios?
What is
I like that.
We had that put in. It's the same guy that did the one in our newsroom, right?
No kidding. That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Accent, all
he
action.
did it. Yeah, our guy Jay did a great job.
That's awesome. Well, Dan, talk to me about just the mood out there in Allen Park. I know one of the things today that was being talked about, and Amon-Ra said it earlier, our goal is to win the Super Bowl, and they're not shying away from that. And Dan Campbell talked about it this morning, too.
Yeah, and I think it's been that way, Ryan, all off season. I think it's been that way since they were in the locker room after the San Francisco game. I think this team has been very resolute in the fact that their goal is now the Super Bowl. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think some teams maybe shy away from saying that, but it is everybody's goal. They did come up 30 minutes short of it last year. So why not just put it out there? Look, yesterday we did our preseason special or training camp special, and I think it was Birchie who asked Aiden Hutchinson about goals for this season and where you want to get. And he just kind of hesitated for a second. He goes, look, if you only get as far, and I'm paraphrasing here, if only get as far as we did last year, it'd be disappointing. So they want to finish the job. They're not shy of talking about it. And the one thing Dan Campbell said is he has no problem with that as long as you realize that it is the work that you're putting in now, every rep, every meeting, everything that you have to do that's going to get you there. You can't just talk about it and speak it into existence. You have to do everything you did last year and then more, because what you did last year wasn't good enough.
Dan, good to talk to you. It's that time. It's that time of year,
Yes,
man. I'm
sir.
excited to talk to you. You talked about the Super Bowl, and that's what Amon-Ra St. Brown talked about. The way to get there is to be that offensive dynamite that you were last year. How good can this offense be this year? The reason why I asked that question, Jahmyr Gibbs really didn't get going to the end of the year. Jamison Williams now he is this dynamo. It's this person that's back. He's locked in. He's mature, according to Dan Campbell. He's working hard. This could really be a special offense, and they were special last year.
Yeah, it was. And I think if you're looking at it, you just say you want to do what you did last year and a little bit more. I'll go back to yesterday. We had a conversation with Jared Goff, and I asked him, I said, where does this offense get better? I said, you guys have been good for a long time. Even if you go back to the beginning of 2022 when they weren't winning, they were scoring points. And he said the one thing he pointed out was he needs to be better on the deep ball. They had some shots last year that he missed. Read Jamison Williams. And I think that's interesting because there were a number of times that J-Mo was open and maybe they didn't connect. I think it's really difficult for anybody in this league to stay with J-Mo when he's got a full head of steam going. So I think that's one thing they could add to the offense. But look, you bring in Zeitler to replace Jonah Jackson. Your offensive line is pretty much intact. He's a Pro Bowler last year, a little up there in age, but still certainly ready to go. You got maybe the best running back tandem in the league between Gibbs and Montgomery. There's no reason to think that this team can't pick up where they left off last year and then some. And I think, Laporta coming off a rookie season, he should only be more comfortable this year. We know Amon-Ra is one of the absolute best in the league. And again, I just love everything I'm seeing from J-Mo. I loved everything I saw from him last year. I really feel like I saw an attitude change in him. And I'm hoping that translates into, a more significant route tree for him this year on the field where he can start to be a threat everywhere.
Hey, Dan, really piggyback on that topic right there. Ben Johnson is a guy that's got the Detroit Lions rocking and rolling over the last 2.5 years. Nobody in the NFL has had an offensive coordinator stay with them that long. Talk about what that means to the Lions this season, having a guy that chose to not take the head coaching job and come back to finish what he started.
Yeah, Braylon, you can speak to that as well as anybody here because you've lived it. Look, when you have the continuity, add the continuity of your quarterback, your receivers, your offensive line, your tight end, your running backs, and then the guy who's calling the signals. That's what you love. And had Ben Johnson left, we'd still think this was going to be a good offense. But whomever they had calling the plays, it was going to take something to be a little bit different. It was going to take, the rhythm was going to be different. The thought pattern at certain times in the game was going to be different. Now you're back for another year of Ben Johnson, a third year of him calling your offensive plays. I think that's one of the things that really went well for this team during the offseason is to have all three of those coordinators back. And look, at some point, you hope they all leave if they want to leave and go get head coaching jobs because they've earned the opportunity to do that. But, man, to have them back selfishly, that's fantastic. And I think any player on that offense would tell you, look, Ben Johnson's one of the best in the league. He's got an understanding of what this team is, what they can do, and when they need to do it. And to have him there calling the plays, that's nothing but an absolute positive for this team.
Hey, Dan, happy football season. Great to hear your voice again, man. I wanted to go on the other side of the ball and keep it with coaches. And Terrell Williams now, a guy that Dan Campbell really wanted to have on this team, the right-hand man of Mike Vrabel over in Tennessee, comes over to coach the D-line. Someone asked him today about that D-line and how it would be different under Terrell Williams. And Dan said he already sees a difference, how they're going to attack. Tell me a little bit about him and what they're going to do on that line.
I asked Aiden Hutchinson about him last night, and Aiden Hutchinson said, I can already tell he's going to be one of the favorite football coaches that I've ever had. I've had people in the organization and outside the organization say to me that is one of the more significant hires that this team has made in a while, and one of the more significant moves for a coaching staff around the league. Look, there's immense respect for this guy and what he can do, the way that he can coach players. Look, this team has gotten to where they are, guys, because they have taken their players, made them better, developed them into being NFL players. That's the key. You've got some pieces on that defensive line. Look, Aiden wants to be coached. He can get better, and he's already really good. Aleem McNeil wants to get better. He's already really good. DJ Reader's a veteran in this league. But start to think about guys like Onwuzurike and Pascal and a guy like James Houston. There's young defensive linemen on this team. Broderick Martin. Young defensive linemen on this team, they need to get better. We've been waiting on Onwuzurike to be healthy and to see what he can do. He's probably down to his last shot here. Now he's getting off to a nice start in camp, but time's running short for him to show what he can do. Pascal's a second-round pick with a lot of talent. Broderick Martin's a big guy, kind of a project, but who better to have working on a project than somebody who's known for developing players. So I think that was based on everything that I've heard, what I've heard from players, what I've heard, again, from people outside the organization, a really significant hire. And Maz, I think it's a significant hire at a critical position for this football team, because as good as they were against the run last year and they were elite, they've got to be better in making quarterbacks uncomfortable. And hopefully that's where he can unlock the potential some of these guys have and start making those guys throw the ball a little bit before they want to or out of rhythm. Because, you go back to the last quarter of last season into the playoffs, they got torched by some of the better receivers in this league. And it's a hard way to live if you're giving up 150, 180, 200 at times to some of these top flight guys. Look, they're good. They're going to get theirs. But that's a hard way to live when they're getting that much. And I think it starts up front with that line getting some better pressure on people.
Absolutely, Dan. And it's going to help these young rookie cornerbacks and the guys they brought in, Amik Robertson and all the rest of these guys that they brought in, man. The secondary, I'm really excited about the Lions secondary. And these guys, man, these two rookies that came in, man, they were so excited. So when I see that draft room, how excited they are, listen, man, they haven't missed yet, all right? So if they hit on these guys, all bets are off on this team, man. Emmanuel Mosley even playing good right now.
Yeah, I was really happy to see them sign him again because he's an intriguing player. He's obviously somebody they liked a lot. It's hard to project where he is coming off basically 2 lost seasons to ACLs, 1 in each knee. So, look, it's great to see him out there. He's a veteran player in this league. He's played at a high level before. Let's see what he can do. Davis is a proven guy. Arnold and Rakestraw are guys that they're excited about. Robertson just brings a toughness that I think they're really excited about. It gives you the ability to maybe move Branch back to safety now. I think they think he can really make a lot of plays on the ball. I think it's going to be interesting to see how they kind of put this thing together. It feels now like it might be, a situation where you got Kirby Joseph and Branch at safety, and you got Terry and Arnold on one side, Davis on the other, and Robertson in the slot. And then you got some versatility with other guys as well. But those guys are all going to have to earn those jobs in camp. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Other guys are banging on the door like Melifonwu. So they've got options. They've got positional versatility. And we're going to have to see how they handle that. But training camp is going to be them figuring out what the best way to line those guys up is. And I think that's going to be kind of fascinating to watch.
Dan, is that among the questions at camp this over the next couple of weeks, is to find out who their best 4 or 5 defensive backs are? There doesn't seem to be too many question marks. I mean, Dan Campbell said yesterday that they could go play a game if they had a game, and of course you want to sharpen up and things like that. But I would assume finding out who those 4 or 5 guys are potentially would be among the big questions. And what else would you say is a big question mark this training camp?
Yeah, Ryan, I don't think there are many questions with this football team. That doesn't mean that you have all the answers. It just means you pretty much think you know who your guys are. Look, J-Mo's got to prove he can handle that other side, kind of stepping in there for Reynolds plus. And then, who's going to move in behind them kind of on the depth chart. They love Khalif. He's one of those guys, but you got some young guys after that. And then you got DPJ in there as well. You got some guys in there that are going to be fighting to kind of earn a spot on the depth chart. And I think that's going to be interesting to watch. Offensively, there's not many other questions really for this football team. The guys are the guys, and they're kind of locked into their positions, and that's a good thing because it's really successful. Defensively, I do think there's some questions on that defensive line about guys trying to win spots and who can kind of define themselves as being ready to go outside of Aline and Reeder and Hutch. I think that there's some jobs there to be taken and some guys that have opportunities to prove that they deserve to be out there. I think you kind of know what your rotation at linebacker is going to be between those 3 main guys and then Rodrigo being the 4th guy. And then I agree with you. I think it's the biggest thing I'm watching right now is that secondary and how they're going to deploy these guys. And I think they're really excited about it. It's Dan Campbell yesterday kind of said it's a great problem to have. And then he said, it's not a problem. It's just competition. And Braylon would be the first to tell you these coaches love nothing more than seeing guys fight for jobs and seeing guys fight for jobs when you might have a couple guys that don't win a job that are capable of starting and playing a lot in this league. So it's a position where they've had some significant shakeup. That cornerback room looks totally different, and that safety position really might look different too, because I think they love the thought of Branch being back there.
Hey, Dan, let me ask you about Hendon Hooker. What do you think his camp will look like this year? And it feels like for the first time I was looking at Lions quarterbacks depth charts for this morning, and I just found it again now. I mean, looking at 2008, Dante Culpepper, John Kitna, Dan Orlovsky. Last time you really feel like you had a couple of guys that could start a game. I mean, and then you go back to Rodney Peete, Eric Kramer, and Andre Ware. I mean, the last time you felt as that the room itself was as talented as it is.
Yeah. I remember a story. We were sitting there with Marinelli one day, and he was late for a meeting. I can tell this story now. He was late for a meeting that we had, and he walked in, and he sat down, and we were going to record the pregame show, and he was never late. He was always on time. And he walked in, he apologized, and he said, hey, he goes, I'll tell you, we were just working out Dante Culpepper out there. And he goes, he looks great. And he said, he's going to come in and we're going to win some games. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, Coach, I'm all for it, but I sure hope there's something that I haven't seen in a couple of years, because he hasn't looked like the same guy in a while. So that depth chart brings back some memories. But look, I think Hooker, Jim Schwartz used to have a saying about rookies. He used to say, he looks suspiciously like a rookie, and he does. I mean, that's just a fact. He's made some nice throws over the first couple of days, but, there were times during the winter and mini camps and things like that where he struggled. And I think this game experience that he's going to get in the preseason is going to be really big for him, because let's face it, he hasn't played football in a while, and he hasn't played football at this level, and he hasn't seen defenses at this level, and he hasn't seen what an open NFL receiver looks like, which is nothing what an open receiver looked like at Tennessee. So, look, the skills are there. He's a tremendous athlete. He's got a charisma about him that you love when he talks. But it's time for him to go out and play now. And he's going to get a lot of opportunities, because I think we've seen from Dan Campbell, he hasn't played the other guys very much during the preseason. So I think, Ryan, we're all excited to see what his skill set can translate to at this level. I'm somebody who doesn't believe that backup quarterback position is locked down by anybody right now. This is a team that has Super Bowl aspirations, and they're not going to just play a young guy because they want a young guy to get experience if something happens to golf. They're going to play whoever gives them the best chance to win a game. And if it's a veteran that can just get in there and run Ben Johnson's offense and do it with making fewer mistakes, it might be Nate Sudfeld, but that's going to be decided here over the next 4, 5, 6 weeks as they go through camp. So, look, I'm excited to see what he can do, but he's got some things to prove out there, as all these young quarterbacks that come in this league do.
Hey, Dan, this is KG in the sound booth. Much respect for your career and the work that you do. I wanted to ask you about Broderick Martin. This is somebody that they brought in last year. He was drafted as a project, didn't really see much of him last year. And then this year we see the body transformation. And you have to think that he will be likely a key rotational piece in this interior defensive line. What have been your takeaways for Broderick Martin this year?
Well, I think you hit on it. Thank you for the kind words. I think you hit on it with the body transformation. He's obviously gone to work on something that he feels like was going to help him. It just looks a little slimmer up top, a little thicker on the bottom, and I think that's a good thing. You're talking about a guy who came in that they knew was going to be a significant project, and at times last year when he played, he looked like a significant project. But they're giving him some time, sitting in there for DJ Reader right now with that first unit. That will obviously be Reader, ideally when the season starts. But I think Martin has to prove that he can be not just somebody that they hand snaps to as a rotational player, but somebody that when you put him out there can make plays. This is his second year. You're expecting a significant leap from him. He's a big dude who's got some athleticism. And obviously, they like a lot of things about his skill set. I can't sit here and tell you how much of a leap he can make this year. I can sit here and tell you that to be somebody they count on, he's got to make a significant leap from where he was a year ago. And that's not unusual for a rookie or a guy that comes from a small school and hasn't played at a high level. He's not unlike a lot of guys like that. But I think they have significant hopes for him. And again, I think we've seen him out there early in camp. Don't read too much into it, but getting some, high leverage reps with the starters out there while DJ Reader's on pup.
Hey, Dan, last one for me. You got to fill me in on my kicking game. All right,
That might be one of the big questions this offseason. Camp.
How's Jake Bates looking? How's the Money Badger looking? I'm going to miss James Turner. I thought he'd been a good addition. He'll beat us in Green Bay, of course. Go ahead. What's your thoughts?
Bates was booming it today. I mean, you can see there's something that happens when that ball comes off his foot, man. It's just a little bit different. There's a lot of power in that leg. And as they've said, Badgley is a guy who, towards the end of last year, you could kind of see that was coming as well. Long field goal against the Rams in the playoffs with room to spare. So I think that this is going to be something, Maz, that we're going to watch every single day. How are these guys doing? Are these guys who made, 7 out of 7 or 8 out of 8 or who went 5 out of 8 on a given day? So I think that it's going to go right down to the wire with these two guys. The preseason games are obviously going to mean a lot. Look, he was in camp with the Texans, missed an extra point. You can't do that. And I'm sure he probably learned something from that last year when he kicked in the preseason for them. So there's not a lot of room for error when you're a kicker at that position. He obviously brings something, a big booming leg that can hit from 60 plus. How often are you going to try a 60-plus yard field goal? I don't know the answer to that, because if you miss it, you're giving up great field position. But Badgley brings experience. Badgley brings consistency. And the one thing that I would say about Bates is, it used to be for old guys like me that they used to say, kicker's got to give you everything inside of 40 or 45 yards. And that's got to be automatic. Yep. I think probably now, as good as these guys are, it's probably you need to give a team everything inside of 50 and be automatic. And I think that's what's really got to be the case with him. One of these two guys will define themselves as the guy that can give you that. And maybe if it's even in the end and this guy's got 65 in him, they might go his way. But I think this is a camp battle that's going to go right down to the wire. Biggest thing for Bates, we know you can hit the long one. Can you be consistent like Badgley is on those kicks that you have to have from 49 and in, I would think.
Dan, last question. It's a quick one. You always know I like to add a little bit something outside of football. The Olympics are back tomorrow. Opening ceremony. What is the event or sport you're most looking forward to? Everybody likes the Olympics, Ryan and Mine, except you.
Yeah, I mean, the easy answer is basketball, but I think for me, I love, when you see these guys out there in the 100-yard dash or any of those sprints where you're just seeing these guys and it's that much difference between people out there. I mean, there's a lot of events in the Summer Olympics I do like. I like swimming. I like seeing, how our country does in those events, and we have so many great athletes there. But I think for me, it's the track and field when you get to, fastest man, fastest woman in the world, the 4x100 relay or whatever those things are when you're handing the baton off and you got guys coming from behind. I think those are always things that I'll kind of lock into a little bit. Much more for me, Summer Olympics than Winter Olympics. I just think there's more that for me that, kind of resonates and the way they do it. So I'm looking forward to it. It's always a cool time to kind of pop it on and take a look at it.
Dan, I thought we were around the same age, but I heard you say 100-yard dash, and I was like, oh, he told him so.
Yeah, 100 meter? Yeah, was it? Whatever it is. It used to be back in my day. It was 100 yard. Yeah,
right. No, that's awesome. I still call it the 100-yard dash. By the way, that's what it is.
They run the 40 for football, and then it's not the 100. It's 100 meter. Yeah,
that's what it is.
Hey, Bruce Jenner won the decathlon in my day. That's all I know.
Who? Bruce Jenner. I remember that too. I remember
him?
The little vignette about how he given up everything and he didn't have anything, and he'd basically been living out of a shoebox for a while, and then he won that. It was an amazing thing. I mean, that was a really cool moment in our country when he did that in 1976. It was amazing, and it was. I think Maz, for guys of our age, that's an Olympic. Now, obviously, kind of gone off. It's the story's taken a much different turn since then.
Yeah,
but I think him winning that is one of those Olympic memories that we all have. It was a really cool moment for our country.
Sure was.
That's awesome stuff. Hey, Dan, we appreciate all the time, my friend. Great stuff here. Looking forward to some Lions football. By the way,
hey, a lot of people liking that hat, by the way, on the chat,
It's a
Dan.
clean hat.
Yeah, it's a good hat.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a good hat. Okay. It's a good hat.
Ermanni knows this is how I dress all the time.
Right.
You guys caught me at home. This is what it looks like.
Oh, hey Dan. By the way, speaking of things that so Jim Leland was on with us a while back, and I told Jim Leland the story about.
It laughed instantly.
You tweeted something the other day. You tweeted something like, Jim Leland was a great guy, and I'm like, all the time.
No, but that was the greatest part about it. That was the greatest part about it. I mean, he would get in your face. He'd call you an MFer. He'd do this and that and the other thing. But you always loved being around him. You loved coming back the next day. Even if he called you those things, even if he said those things
that's
to
called
you.
Stockholm syndrome.
I mean, I'm serious. You just loved coming back the next day.
Yeah.
No, look, hey, man, as somebody who grew up a Pirate fan, he's a hero to people that root for Pittsburgh baseball and for what he did for Detroit. And you think about it. I mean, he was the first one to take Florida to the playoffs. They win the World Series. He takes over in Pittsburgh after they were just down and out and in the middle of that drug thing in the 80s, brings them back. Comes to Detroit after they'd had historically bad seasons, brings them back, takes them to the World Series. I mean, the guy was, really did some amazing things, was a heck of a leader. He could make you laugh. I mean, he had some great stories, and you know what? He had a quick temper, but that quick temper was part of what allowed him to be as successful as he was.
Dan,
that's an all-time great story, Ryan. All-time great story.
Dan, would you trade Scooble to the Orioles for Jackson Holiday and 2 more guys? I want to know right now.
No, I was a no, but if you give me Holiday, Mayo, and the catcher, I'm probably thinking about it. Just because of the dirt. It's probably just because of the dearth of everyday position players in this organization right now. But here's the thing. You're going to have to load up that truck and back it up for me to trade him, because I'm giving you a guarantee. You're giving me maybes. I don't care if he's the number 1 prospect in baseball. I don't care if his Mayo 15 or something like that, whatever.
Yeah.
Or a young catcher, whatever. There's still maybes. They haven't done it at this level. This guy may be the best pitcher in baseball, so I'm not settling for anything less than an absolute wow package.
That's right about that.
Just remember that we can't afford him at $400 million. Illich won't pay it.
Yeah, but you may compete next year. I mean, look, if this team goes out and spends some money and brings in a couple guys, you may be back in competing next year for division or wild card or whatever. They've got some options, whether it's trading him or going out and bringing in some bats. I mean, this organization, some of these young guys are starting to come around a little bit. But look, it's a tough spot. They have to decide, where are you going here? What are you doing?
What are you doing? I never know what you're doing.
Listen, they can pay him. They can pay him.
I know, but they don't.
About that. They can pay the best pitcher in baseball if he comes up in 2 or 3 years. You might have to go short in some other areas, but to say that they absolutely cannot pay him, I don't buy that. I don't. Not when we saw that payroll, when we saw it in years gone by. These fans will flock to that ballpark if you give them a reason to go to that ballpark.
Amen.
And that's part of the thing that adds to the coffers and allows you to pay players. So you want to pay players, fans will repay you by coming to the ballpark. So it's chicken or the egg. Let's go. But
Let's go.
I'm not buying. I'm trading him out of fear. I'm not doing that. If I trade him, it's because I'm building this team going forward and trying to get 3 guys that might play us, or 2 guys, or whatever it is, a significant role in my rebuild. But I'm not trading him out of fear. I'm not letting him walk out that door for nothing.
No way.
I'll tell you that right now.
Dude, thanks for spending all this time with us, Dan. Go about your day. Really appreciate it, my friend. We'll look forward to watching the Lions and Giants on Fox 2 August 8th at 7 o'clock. And look forward to your coverage on Fox 2 throughout the rest of the days and weeks and months ahead.
Thanks, boys. See you soon.
You got it.
See you, Dan.
The great Dan Miller, voice of the Detroit Lions,
Very generous
with us
with his
here.
time.
Absolutely, on Woodward Sports Network. That was awesome. Good stuff. That was fantastic.
I had to get that in.
You sold me yesterday. You sold me on it. I was a hard no on trading Skubal.
Yeah.
And
It's only to the Orioles. That's it.
only to the Orioles.
That's it.
Not only to the Orioles because of how good they are. How good we think they are.
They have the best minors in baseball.
Yeah, it's a perfect. It feels like a Goff Stafford trade.
Yeah.
That's what that feels like.
It sure does.
If you
Sure
trade
does.
Skubal to the
I said
Orioles, they get
Perfect.
something out of it, and we get something out of it.
They win the World Series.
They might with Skubal.
Just
So,
like Stafford won the Super Bowl.
absolutely.
Good call.
All right, guys, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll go around the NFL. Also, just an NBA broadcasting update that Maz will get us up to date on. He's been on top of the story unlike any other. But first, a message from Planet. Oh, we can do KDK Law, too.
Sorry, my friend.
Yeah, never mind. I'll do that. Good job. We'll do KDK Law. Dealing with divorce, child custody visitation, other family law issues. Kevin and Catherine at KDK Law in Birmingham will have your back. 10-plus years of experience and 24/7 availability. Scan the QR code on your screen or call 248-971-0476. Say Woodward Sports sent you, and KDK will pay your filing fee. KDK Law, they've got your back.
The Ally Challenge, presented by McLaren, is back August 22nd through the 25th at Ward Hills. Leave the golf to the pros, and don't miss the party on 17. It will be live. $2 beer birdies, concerts, and more. Get your tickets today at AllyChallenge.com.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Hamp for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda? A chef for Lola? Really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets?
Nobody! A network.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man,
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
The Ally Challenge presented by McLaren is back August 22nd through 25th at Warwick Hills and Grand Blanc. Be there for PGA Tour Champions Golf, Family Night, concerts, and more. Tickets start at just $15. Get yours at AllyChallenge.com today.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Fitness that fits in your budget. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by with over 50 metropolitan Detroit locations. They are the spot to train and work out because they are home of the judgment-free zone. Nobody wants to work out. We got people judging you, breathing down your neck, trying to get you off the machine. You take your time. You go your own pace at Planet Fitness because your fitness is essential. And the gyms are clean. In fact, squeaky clean are the gym. The perks, Planet Fitness has all the perks because they are the gym you should be attending. Planet Fitness, your fitness is essential.
Head on over to Swiss Insurance because now more than ever is critical for you to have your insurance review. Swiss Insurance will make sure your carrier is not slipping in any extra fees. Call Mark at Swiss Insurance today at 313-530-1698. That's right, 313-530-1698. SwissINS.com. SwissINS.com.
And don't forget about Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Awesome is where a guy can be a guy and get an amazing haircut. That's Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Stop in, sit back, relax. Let one of Lady Jane's talented stylists make you look and feel great. Several locations around the country, several more all over the Metro Detroit area. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, 7 days a week. It's wicked awesome.
Wicked awesome.
All right, Maz, hour number 2. I don't want you waited 55 minutes to give us your NBA broadcasting update.
Darn shame.
It looks like it's over for my
John
guys
Tesh
at TNT.
calling?
Right.
It looks like it's over for my guys at TNT. The NBA has rejected TNT's. Well, TNT matched the offer, but the NBA says no, you didn't really match the offer for Amazon. Plus, we want to have Amazon as our partner. Matter of fact, I even saw an NBA on Amazon promo that is ready to be sent out to everybody. But the people at TNT still fighting, right? They put it out there and they said, look, man, we covered it.
Here's the statement. We've matched the Amazon offer as we have a contractual right to do and do not believe the NBA can reject it. In doing so, they are rejecting the many fans who continue to show their unwavering support for our best-in-class coverage delivered through the full combined reach of Warner Brothers Distribution's video first distribution platforms, including TNT, home of a 4-decade partnership with the league, and Max, our leading streaming service. We think they have grossly misinterpreted our contractual rights with respect to the 2025-2026 season and beyond, and we will take appropriate action. We look forward, however, to having another great season of NBA on TNT Max, including our iconic Inside the NBA.
Can you imagine this year with Charles Barkley?
Unfiltered like never before.
He's going to be a pain in the neck for the NBA this year.
Yeah.
He is going to roast them.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear Charles Barkley, Shaq, Kenny, and of course Ernie with the quips. It's going to be fantastic. And it's sad. They didn't want TNT. They wanted to move in a different direction. Braylon hit it yesterday. They want to get with the hip gang.
Mm-hmm.
The hip gang is
Younger
Amazon
audience,
and
yeah.
Jeff Bezos. So I guess that's all it is. It sucks, but I guess old is out and new is in.
And it's the same with college football as well, guys. Old is out and new is in.
I think the good thing about this, man, is let's not be sad it's over. Let's be glad it's happening. And I'm not trying to be cliche. What happens when things continue on and on and on, especially when they're not ready to jump into a new world? It starts to look old. It starts to look like way less than what it was. I do not want to see that show not look like what that show is. The show ended the way it started. It's an amazing show, the best sports show that was on TV. You don't want to get to a space where it starts to lag, it starts to lackluster, and it's no longer funny and it seems forced. So I'm glad I still have great memories of what TNT was. Like I told you, really locked in for the first time when Vince Carter won the dunk contest in 2000. That's when I locked into this. You're talking 24 years. So, hey, I'm glad it happened.
Great broadcasters on that network, and, we're not going to have them.
Sorry, I tried to move off that topic. I thought you shook me off.
Oh, no.
Sorry, man.
No, I was
I apologize to you.
No, you're good. You're good.
All right. Very good.
I'm sorry I gave you a miscommunication.
No, it's okay.
Football season. Let's get on
shook
track.
me off.
No, I would never do that. You got that, you got the scarlet and gray on right now.
It's orange, I think. I can't tell.
Hey, enjoy your last year of Kevin Harlan. You know
what? Kevin Harlan's getting a little long in the tooth anyway. Some of these guys.
Yeah.
You're talking about a new.
Bite your tongue.
Yeah. Okay.
He'll get booked for other stuff.
Bite your tongue.
He'll get booked for other stuff.
Oh God, he's does everything. BA is the one that I'm concerned about.
But that's baseball. So
he does everything. He does the NBA.
Yeah, he
too.
does NBA too.
He does everything. Guys, I want to get to college football. Big Ten Media Days, I should say.
This is it.
In Indianapolis. They used to be in Chicago, but now everything is in Indianapolis. Tony Petitti, Big Ten commissioner.
Boo.
Got 2 words works for you.
He was at the podium. Here's what he had to say.
National
It's
champs.
going to make our regular season even better. Like I think the point you made, Dave, is really critical. You want as many teams competing late in the season for a chance to play meaningful postseason games. And, 4 out of just roughly 70 in the A5 is a pretty small number, right? Compared to what you see in professional leagues, and whether it's 14 out of 32 making the postseason or 12 out of 30 in some leagues. Some leagues are half their teams making the postseason. So we had a very small number. And we've got a lot of really good teams that deserve an opportunity to play. And so this will get us on the right path of giving more opportunities. And the benefit of that is what's going to happen, I think, in November. More teams grinding to the end of the season for that opportunity to get in the field of 12. And I think we're going to show very well. But I do think it's going to have a real impact. And the best thing, postseason should work together with regular season. That's the point of them, right? You go on a journey during the regular season with the goal of making the postseason. Those things have to come together to make sense. And that's what we're focused on. And I think this step of 12 is a really great step. And we think it's going to help our regular season. I think when you hear the coaches talk over these next couple of days, that's what they're playing for. They're playing for a chance to get in this tournament.
I will always laugh after how he tried to handle the Big Ten championship this year, trying to take off, and Jim had to catch him. They said, no. You got to get that trophy to Jim Harbaugh, so that's always going to be funny to me. Although I may not like the person, I agree with him. I agree with exactly what he's saying. Even though we don't count USC or Oregon or Washington, they don't feel like Big Ten teams yet. Fact of the matter is they are Big Ten teams. They count for the Big Ten Conference, and I think once you introduce them to this conference, the Conference of 18 now, we have more teams that are able to get a chance to be in that field of 12. Oregon's one of the best teams in the country under Dan Lanning. We know what Ohio State's going to be. They're one of the darn best teams in the country, especially when you spend 13.5. Michigan, the reigning defending champs, are going to surprise a lot of people. So when you have more teams that can vie for the national championship, your conference makes more money. It's more impressive. So, yeah, he's right. He's absolutely right.
The Big 18 is going to be fun this year.
Yeah, it should be. And, Kirk Herbstreit was on earlier today on ESPN, and he said that if he had to pick a national champion right now, it would come out of the Big Ten. That's Oregon. Oregon would be the team that he would project to win the national championship this year. And, Ohio State's got to go to Eugene this year. That is going to be a game that I think will certainly be for a trip to Indianapolis in the Big Ten championship game. I'm looking forward for the Big Ten championship game to just go away altogether, to be honest with you.
It should.
I'm excited about it. That's one thing I do appreciate it. I was against this field of 12.
I remember. You were hot.
I'm going to still stand on that hill because there's no more.
Traditionalists.
There's no more than 6 teams that are deserving of winning the national championship. Let's call it a spade a spade. But with that being said, there are seasons when you lose early and you never have a chance to avenge a loss to a team that you might be better than at the end of the season. And I think this field of 12 gives you that option. If Michigan loses to Texas early on in the year or vice versa, those teams run the table or those teams figure it out. They get a chance to play each other later on in the field of 12. So I do like that. Sometimes you're not your best, and usually it's not early on in the season. So that part, I like.
I just don't know. 18 teams, top 2 playing the Big Ten championship, the Big 18 championship.
Yeah.
There's going to be a logjam up there. There's going to be teams that are going to be
lots of tiebreakers.
Yeah, there's going to be a ton of tiebreakers. What can you imagine losing a tiebreaker to try to play for your conference championship?
A lot of those tiebreakers, though, will most likely come down to head-to-head.
How about a coin flip? You want to lose a coin flip?
I think that's like the 8th tiebreaker.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
it could happen.
Yeah, no, it could happen.
There got to be is there a better way to crown your champion?
I mean, unless you had divisions, and I'm not for that. Because there's going to be.
How do you split them?
Right. I mean, it's just like the East and the West. I mean, you have Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan State with, when they were winning 11 games a year.
Look at the 18 right now.
Penn State.
Who do you put in the East?
Well, I don't have my sheet in front of me.
Bring up a Big Ten thing. Here.
But that's one thing, Maz, I like about the way it is now. When you don't have divisions, when you don't have sides, the leaders, and best, the reasons why. How many times do you look on that other side and you're like, who's the best team over there? Who cares? It's Wisconsin? Or is it going to be Iowa this year? Or is it going to be Minnesota that sneaks into that space? Now you don't have to deal with that side. I like it like that. It gets rid of that West being mediocrity and getting it into the playoffs or getting into the Big Ten championship.
All right.
Let's split these 18 up right now.
It's very simple.
Let's go.
So you've got to go Rutgers, Maryland.
You guys have that preseason media poll in the files there anywhere?
That's
all right.
Rutgers, Maryland. Michigan, MSU.
Ohio State.
Penn State.
Yep.
Penn State. This is hard. Indiana.
Maryland.
I already got that.
Okay.
Indiana.
When are you going to add the West Coast?
Northwestern. I'm doing all the East Coast first. Just
Gotcha.
Illinois.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay,
Oh,
here you
good.
go. I
Good.
got it. Okay, so you've got Rutgers, Maryland, Michigan State, Ohio State, Penn State, Indiana, Northwestern, Illinois. But then you've got Purdue here too. So you got
So it's 10 and 8.
10 and 8 really.
All right, but someone's got to move.
So then you'd go Oregon, Iowa, USC, Wisconsin, Nebraska, UCLA, and Washington. I mean, if you did,
That's fine with me.
Did you mention Minnesota?
Yeah, in the West.
Okay,
that's fine with me.
Whoa, they got Michigan 4th to Penn State. They trust those weasels.
Yeah, man.
And Penn State, they're never.
I'm
so
sick of Penn State.
And James Franklin.
Yeah.
You know,
and James Franklin.
Look at the right. Well, never mind. The right side of that list had UCLA 15th out of 18 teams.
Yeah.
So the new head coach there, Deshaun Foster.
This poor guy.
He was at the podium yesterday, Big Ten Media Day, and he struggled up there. He did recover on the Big Ten Network, but we're going to show you the podium. He struggled there a little bit.
Coach Foster, welcome to the Big Ten. We'll begin with your opening statement.
How you guys doing? I'm happy to be here. Glad to be a part of this great conference. Finally putting two great emblems together, UCLA and the Big Ten. We're a school that's won, 123 championships, so this fits us being right in this conference. Football-wise, we're just excited. You know, I'm sure you guys don't know too much about UCLA, but our football program, but we're in LA. It's us and USC. We I'm just basically excited, really. That's it. Any questions?
In a second.
Dude, that's awesome.
Any questions?
That's awesome. That's a terrible spot to be in. That's terrible. Poor guy.
You look good.
You wonder how you get the job, right? I mean, because you've got to go in and present a plan.
If you're not a salesman, you're probably not a coach.
Well, that's what it is. You have to sell yourself. He didn't do that at the podium.
I'm biased. Look, I'm a former football player. I know how hard these spaces are. Look, he's an X's and O's guy. He's a football guy. He's coached this guy. He's going to be a good coach. It's like Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell didn't necessarily knock it out of the park with his first press conference.
Correct, he didn't.
People didn't like it, but he certainly sold a vision.
Right. I think he did.
He sold who he was to us, and now you look back, he sold himself. But if it didn't work, it would have been a.
But he was a nervous wreck too.
And that's what I'm saying. And also you're putting him in a new space. Nobody told him what the Big Ten Conference was, what media, the Big Ten Kickoff Classic, the luncheon. Nobody told him what to say. Nobody prepped him on, hey, look, this is what it is. These are these conference things are, et cetera, et cetera. He's a first-time coach in a first-time situation. This is the first time where you see the Pac-12 merge with the Big Ten. These are the 4 teams. So I said we cut the man some slack. You can say that he wasn't he wasn't prepared, and maybe he should have been prepared. I disagree. I think he went up there. He's lying in his head. He was trying to get his ideas, his conversation out. He couldn't get it out. He's a guy that's not necessarily built right now for the podium. But let's take it easy on him because that is a hard. I've been in that ballroom, man. I've been in that ballroom. There's legitimately about 1,500 people.
Yeah, it ain't easy.
It's 1,500 people in the ballroom. You got a lot of eyes on you. It's a new situation. So he bombed.
Let's do this. Let's do this.
He definitely bombed.
Let's give him a mulligan and let's see how he did on the Big Ten Network.
Okay.
What's practice like with you? What's the team get to see? Do you chew guys out if there's a mistake? Could you give us a look behind the curtain of what you're like in practice?
It's the complete opposite of this.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's not,
I can
it's
attest
not-
to that.
Yes. It's the complete opposite of this. But just me as a player, I was never a raw guy. You know, I mean, I was into the game, I was locked in, but I always felt no matter what you do, it's still 0-0. So that's just the way I approach it. You know, when we get out on the field, that's when my personality comes out, and that's when you got to get going. And, you know, as long as my players, my running backs are very similar to me that I've had and coached, and, you know, it's worked. And I'm not going to make the team be calm and relaxed, but I'm just excited. You know, I like to call it athletic arrogance. You know, you have to have that if you want to be a successful player, and I'm pretty confident in my coaching ability, so I'm excited for this.
He was a hell of a player, you know, just to take it to what he was as a player. If he doesn't get suspended his junior year, he would have won the Heisman. I was literally I
was at Michigan when they beat Michigan in L.A.
That's
Deshaun Fox, a great player, there's no doubt.
Yeah, but and then obviously with the Carolina Panthers went to the Super Bowl. That black visor used to go hardcore, but they will have to hire somebody for him, whether it's him, whether it's the AD. They will have to hire somebody because it's not like the NFL. In the NFL, you can kind of hide behind the space of just being a coach. You can be like a Dan Campbell. In the the college level, what are you always doing? You're always selling your team. You're always selling yourself. You're always selling the program. You're selling NIL. You're talking to donors, alums, regions, whatever your school calls them. So they will have to hire somebody maybe to help him out in that space. Be great in the NFL, but for right now, like you say, he's a football guy. College is different than NFL in terms of how you got to coach, what is expected of you. In that college space, you got to be able to sell yourself and sell your program. So,
Trying to think of non-rah-rah guys that are successful in college football right now.
I bet you Tom Osborne back in the day was a non-rah-rah guy.
Oh, God, yeah, and so is Joe Paterno
Right,
and everything.
Joe
But now I'm just thinking
Bear
about
Bryant.
Sharon Moore running up and down the sidelines, jumping on the players. You know what I mean?
Young guys, young
this
coaches.
was clean, by the way.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you almost need a rah-rah guy, I think. I don't know. I will be totally honest. If I'm a UCLA fan, that's concerning to me, just because it is one, a sales job, and then two, you coach. You coach the players that you are able to sell yourself on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you are solely specific for getting those players, you know, as the coach. And you have to sell. See, I think I'm a terrible salesman.
I disagree.
Well, I don't want to say terrible, but I don't think I sell myself all that great. I mean, am who I am, but I'm not trying to attract.
You sold me on the golf look.
Well, okay.
You're great on
Either
Beavis
way-
and Butthead.
Yeah, Beavis and Butthead. Yeah, okay. Well, either way, I was trying to make a point, and I'm doing a poor job in doing that. But I mean, like, I do think so much of this is confidence in selling the program, selling yourself, selling your football program, being the CEO of a multi-million-dollar, hundreds of million-dollar corporation. That's what you're doing. I think of Sharon Moore and what he's just come in and just totally killed it. I think, who's this guy at Michigan State? I think he's done
Jonathan Smith.
Yeah, I think he's done an okay job, but you don't hear from him a lot. Bottom line is,
he hasn't coached the game yet.
Bottom line is, if you win, people like you. If you don't win, people don't like you. It's pretty simple.
Mel Tucker surprised me. I'm talking when he first came out, and I want him to be the coach of Michigan. I really did.
Mel Tucker walked around with an attitude, though, that you just absolutely
It was a great
were
attitude.
so into.
Yeah.
I think people loved Mel Tucker in 2020 and 2021.
Of course.
You wanted to be around him. Everybody wanted to be around him. That's how he got as big as he got.
You bet.
That's how he got $90 million or whatever.
Facts.
They didn't want LSU to take him.
Nope.
You know?
But Deshaun Foster, look, maybe he can be the first of something going on in college football. Right now, everybody is rah, rah, rah. Everybody is cheer, cheer, cheer. Everybody is red cheeks, smiling in your face, handshakes, and talking about how to get money for their program. Maybe he can be the humble guy. Maybe he can be the humble guy who you see the players get better at UCLA. Maybe he can be the guy you start to see some wins pile up at UCLA, and maybe you say, you know what, I want my kid to go there. I want my kid to go to a great institution like UCLA, but not only that, the way in which this guy coaches, he coaches the fundamentals. They fight hard, their team. it's ways in which you can get around it, and maybe that will be his thing, because everything right now is a lot of energy like Sharon Moore, James Franklin, Lincoln Riley, insert coach here. Maybe it's time for a new look. Maybe that's Deshaun Foster.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So
someone should have sent him up there with, hey, listen, Deshaun, talk about like the guys who coached you and who made you. This is the first time you're going to be a college head coach, and you're in the Big Ten Conference, moving from the Pac-12. Now you're in the Big Ten Conference. Talk about the coaches that were here prior to you. I mean, go back to Dick Vermeil even. Just say a few things like that. Say, I'm looking forward to the year. Looking forward to talking to all you guys. What do you got for me? That's all you had to do.
We'll get you some cuts from Sharon Moore. He speaks to the media today, and we'll get you some of those for tomorrow's show. In the meantime, we are going to take a break. We'll go around the NFL next. But first, a message from Guardian Alarm.
What do you do when you see that black and yellow sign outside? Stay out.
Stay out.
That's right. Customized solutions from real experts. Guardian Alarms. Professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. 24/7 professional monitoring. Call us anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone as long as needed. Technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work, and people have been proven to care. So call 1-800.
Stay out.
Stay out.
That's right. Call 1-800.
Stay out.
Tell them Woodward Sports sent show. We'll be right back after this brief message.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Hamp for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
Yo, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness, and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda? A chef for Lola? Really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets?
Nobody! The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
The Ally Challenge presented by McLaren is back August 22nd through 25th at Warwick Hills and Grand Blanc. Be there for PGA Tour Champions Golf, Family Night, concerts, and more. Tickets start at just $15. Get yours at allychallenge.com today.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Hey guys, it's Maz from Mark White. Dreaming of a new home, but feeling a financial pinch? We feel you. Mark White and Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing cost. That's right, I said $5,000. Call Mark White and Associates today, 248-290-8242. Check him out online as well, markwhitesells.com. Again, call Mark White today, 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true. And our good friend, Dr. Jeff Pierce. Don't miss every time we talk to Dr. Jeff Pierce, he's in twice a week here on Woodward Sports. Join him every Tuesday on Big D Energy. Thursdays here with us. He'll be on tomorrow because he's out in New York again. We'll check him out. Trust the guy that D, Mac, and Braylon both trust. Dr. Jeff Pierce here to keep you in the game, performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsAndSpine.com or call 248-428-9944 for Dr. Jeff Pierce.
Baseball.
Soroki's crispy chicken and pizza. No problem, Ryan.
Gosh,
I'm just
it's
trying to
training camp for us, too.
Soroki's
Oh, my
crispy
God.
chicken and pizza. But up Nashville Hot is back as well. The pizza, chicken tenders, and fries, and the sandwich. Gotta warn you, it is hot.
We need a Soroki's lunch
We do,
pretty soon.
I 100% we need one because I want those biscuits with the honey. They are amazing. And like I said, if that's not what you want in terms of Nashville Hot, they do have fresh salads and sides. So they got a little bit something for everybody. Come enjoy the delicious heat that is Soroki.
Get you a baseball update real quick. Dylan Cease of the Padres has just completed a no-hitter against the Washington Nationals. San Diego Padres score 3 in the first. No scoring the rest of the way. 3-0. Dylan Cease, 114 pitches, 9 strikeouts, and 3 walks. I feel like I haven't.
White Sox.
I feel like I haven't heard too many no-hitters this season.
You're right. That might be the first one.
There might be one other one, or maybe there's a combined no-hitter in there somewhere.
Don't even let them pitch. There's a combined one for sure.
Right.
I can't remember.
I cannot remember a no-hitter this year. That's why I was so like, I was like, I saw no hits, and then I was like, oh, is Cease? How many relievers?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They let him go 9?
Right.
Wow.
Oh, my gosh. Wow. I can't believe it.
We don't even get complete games.
Right.
Who did he shut out, by the way?
Washington Nationals.
Okay, the Nats.
Yeah. The Nats.
All right. Good for him. Tigers up 3-0 in the ninth.
3-0 in the ninth. In the ninth, trying to add on.
Wish they had a couple of runs for Jack Flaherty last night.
There you go. That would have been nice.
I saw the home run that Javi Baez hit, and you showed. Do you see how long he took to get going to run the base?
He was shocked.
Like he stared at the home run. Like,
got to get around them bases.
Excuse me, sir. You got 2 home runs this year. Relax. But like, pipe down. Like, this isn't home run 32 on the year. It's 2.
Got to get around them bases. All right, guys, let's go around the NFL, shall we?
Let's do it. Hey, guys, 1 week from today, we've got NFL football. The Hall of Fame game in Canton, Ohio. It's the Bears and the Texans. How about that? Football in a week.
Unbelievable.
I know it's preseason, but it's football.
Will we see Caleb Williams?
No.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You think? For a drive? For one drive?
So.
Why not?
I think you see him a little bit. Look, they got to get this thing going. You got weapons on this team. You have DJ Moore, who looks phenomenal right now. He's in some type of shape. He always has been a really good receiver. So you got to get some chemistry between these guys. You got Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, Cole Kmet, DeAndre Swift. You want to see what these guys can do, and you want to get your guy who's going to be his first year. A lot is being placed on Caleb Williams by himself, by his team, and definitely by the outside. I would definitely get him some snaps because you only got 3 games.
Yeah.
And then you start a season, and maybe it's fair, maybe it's not fair. A lot of people are expecting Caleb Williams to get this particular team to the playoffs. So I'll get him a couple reps.
Hey, the NFL obviously looking to make their game more safe, especially concussion-wise. So the NFL teams the last couple of years in practices have been wearing those Guardian helmets.
Yes.
But now they have something to go over them, to cover them with the logo on it. Have you seen those?
Yeah, that's right. The Guardian caps now have skull caps
they have
on
the
them
team logo on
to
them.
make them look like more of a regular helmet. League planning to implement Guardian caps full time in games, and at some point, and these will make them look more normal.
That one looks pretty bad. That Washington one
looks better than the old brown one. Like they just, you know.
But back in the 90s, remember Mark Kelso of the Buffalo Bills?
Helmet.
He wore his helmet looked better than these Guardian ones.
Yeah.
He was way ahead of his time. If you remember that one.
He's wearing a bigger helmet too. Like, if he hits you, like, does it hurt a little bit more? I don't know.
I think that was like a pad even.
Yeah, it was
when
like a
when you wear it this way, how long before that thing comes off, that thing gets in somebody's face, it causes a play and somebody couldn't see, now you blaming it on this, and it could have been an interception or a touchdown. Like, it's just one more thing to be at the instant reboot play for 2 hours.
Probably.
Yeah.
Hey, you know Bill Belichick's living his best life right now. He's got his
Living my best life.
He's got his 24-year-old girlfriend. He's rich as hell. He's got the year off. Did you know that Kyle Shanahan offered him a position to come to the 49ers to do whatever the hell he wanted to do?
Really?
He could have been a defensive coordinator. He could have been an assistant coach. He wanted him there just to talk with. Bill said no thanks.
I read this story, and Kyle Shanahan said that he wanted to move carefully on it because he didn't want to insult Bill Belichick. He didn't want to offer him a low-level job that, just to have him on. He wanted to have an appropriate job title for him and job description. So basically he just said, what do you want to do? I don't want to insult you with anything. Is there a role that you see yourself? Because for many people that are just football people, like some guy like Deshaun Foster.
Yeah.
Seems like he's just a football guy, right? Like nothing else. Just
100%.
Just football guy. He didn't want to insult him, and he said thanks, but no thanks. Really appreciate the offer, but
we'll see.
You want to sit up in the booth and be an analyst? You want to sit, in meetings with us? What do you want to? Whatever, do whatever.
He's going to be very good on that Manning cast, I think. And the more he gets used on all these, probably ESPN mostly, he could have a good future in broadcasting.
Absolutely.
I believe that.
I say good for Bill Belichick. A lot of people don't know how to say no. I think that's a big thing. A lot of people don't know how to say no. They don't know how to not hurt people's feelings. They don't want to, hey, I don't want to hurt that person's feelings, so I'll say yes. I'll come on. But then you don't want to do the job. Then you don't have the effort in the job. You don't have the same energy and emotion, and you don't do the job well. So kudos to Bill Belichick for saying, hey, you know what? I appreciate the offer. I'm where I'm at. I'm good right now. A lot of people can't do that.
Still maintain Belichick is about 20 wins away from
Shula,
Don Shula. At some point, I just think it's going to draw him back.
We'll see. He's not getting younger.
Well, like I said,
girlfriends.
he won't quit the NFL. If he doesn't get a job, it's going to be the NFL quitting him.
Right.
That's what I think it is.
Hey, speaking of guys that have quit, no, not really. Jim Harbaugh, of course, left Michigan with the national championship. He's in L.A. with the Chargers. Chargers have that gorgeous new practice facility. They play at SoFi. They might get their own fans now that Jim Harbaugh is there eventually, and they've been picked. Colin Cowherd went on today and said he wouldn't be surprised if they won 11 or 12 games this year. That's how much he prefers. That's how much he loves himself some Jim Harbaugh. We do as well. Here's Jim, how excited he is to get going.
The way it feels, feels like New Year's Day, feels like being born. Feels like coming out of the womb, it's like you're in there and it's comfortable and it's safe and now you're out, you're born, the lights are on, it's bright, you got chaos, people looking at you, people talking at you, and just feels good to have it happen.
Yeah, he's born.
It's so awesome. And you know what? Jim Harbaugh will be successful. There's no doubt in my mind he will be successful. And again, the main reason why, he's got a quarterback. If Jim Harbaugh has a quarterback, he wins. If he doesn't have a quarterback, he loses. That's just, and there's a multi-decade track record of that. It's very simple. And they will win, I think, double-digit games this year. And I think they'll get into the playoffs, to be honest with you.
It will be interesting this year.
AFC's tough.
That's a tough division.
I don't know if I can tune in to watch Colin Cowherd this year because I tell you what, his favorite things are the Chargers, the USC Trojans, Jim Harbaugh, and Justin Herbert.
It sounds like Mike Greenberg.
And three of those are now connected together, so it's going to be tough watching that show. But like you said, everywhere he's had a quarterback, everywhere he's been in there, whether it was Alex Smith and Colin Kaepernick, whether it was Andrew Luck, whether it was J.J. McCarthy last year, he has been super successful in that space. That quirkiness and all the analogies and all that, I will tell you this, in the NFL and the bigger media markets, if you're not winning, that will be on full display a little bit more. It's not like Ann Arbor where we can tuck you and you can hide. You're in LA. You're in the main media market in the NFL, the biggest brand of them all. You better win.
Hey, there's another quarterback out there that he would have loved to have had at his QB. This guy has got moxie out the yin-yang, and it's Joe Burrow. In Cincinnati. Remember that nice long hair he had? He was looking like a Hollywood star. Well, he got the crew cut and he bleached it.
Yep.
Now he is on the stand saying, well, listen.
Grow and learn every year. I know I'm pretty damn good. I have been. Can continue to improve year to year, day to day. And I think that's how you have to approach it. I'm focused on continued improvement, and I'm really happy with the offseason that I have. I'm really happy to have this training camp to continue to hone my skills and improve and, build this team chemistry for this run we're about to go on.
Is that Eminem or is that as
Cody
KG
Rhodes.
said, Cody Rhodes? That's right.
It's Joey B.
American Nightmare.
You're right.
It's Joey B.
If I'm Jamar Chase, I'm pulling him to the side. Like, hey, we all right? Like,
Yeah,
you good?
right.
You see a cut
What's
like
going
that,
on, bro?
You straight. You look at a cut like that, it leads to other thoughts and other things. I'm just messing with it, though. But like, he's the guy. Like, he's the guy whenever you're talking about being healthy. He is the guy that can compete with Patrick Mahomes. Actually, he's beat him twice. So we'll see what they are. He lost some pieces, but when Joe Burrow is healthy, he is legitly number 2 in this league.
He said he's ready to go. He feels great, and I hope he stays healthy, man, because he's good for the NFL.
Speaking of Joe Burrow, I just looked up at ESPN 10 minutes ago, and they did Damian Woody's 3 biggest challengers to the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. Cincinnati Bengals were one of those teams. The Detroit Lions were one of those teams.
And the Jets.
Were they? I didn't know.
No, I just threw it up.
The other team, I didn't see what the third team was. That's why I didn't mention anything. But if you had to pick, who would it be? The 3 biggest challengers to the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl: Lions, Bengals, and who would be that other team?
Eagles.
Yeah, Eagles.
49ers, I'll stick with.
I think the Eagles are not gonna. Eagles are interesting because I think losing Jason Kelce and Fletcher Cox and
Hassan Reddick.
That coach, I don't like that coach. I think
Nick
that coach is a
Sirianni?
flake. I think Nick Sirianni is just a flake. It was cute for a year, and they were really good, and I just don't like the coach.
I feel you.
I like Nick Sirianni as well, but I think sometimes you can be humble. And I think last year humbled him. He lost his offensive coordinator, he lost his defensive coordinator, but still he continued with that same attitude, that arrogant, spoiled child, only child syndrome type of attitude and type of behavior. And you saw it start to break down amongst the Philadelphia Eagles outside of their health. So I think this offseason, time to get some things intact. You get Saquon Barkley to help out that offensive line. Like, it's going to be a tough year. But I think he can be humble because we didn't even know if he was going to have this job. Remember, when we were on the show, we thought that would be a great space for Bill Belichick. They're a team already in place. So I think they're humble. I think they ball in the right pieces. And don't forget the drafts that they've had. You talk about the Lions drafting over the past 3 years. The Philadelphia Eagles have drafted just as well. A lot of Georgia players
No
and
doubt.
Iowa on that team, too.
No doubt. Tigers game has gone final, 3-0 against the Cleveland Guardians. Tigers 2 games out of 2 games
Under 500.
Under 500. Thank you, Maz, for that.
They split the 4-game.
Yeah.
They should have swept. They should have swept.
At least should have taken 3 or 4, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Why not all of them? They had the lead.
Yeah.
In all of them.
Yep.
Anyway.
And you just look at the wild card as it stands right now at this moment in time, 6 games out of the wild card.
Still.
And the 2 teams that you're fighting are the 2 teams in front of you in the division. That's why this thing to me, I mean, you got Minnesota this week.
Yeah, and Cleveland after that for a 2-gamer.
I understand. I
don't know.
It's just they're just not there. They're not there. Cleveland's so far away. 11 games is.
But they have no pitching now.
Yeah.
They got so many injuries on their pitching staff. If they want to stay in this, they're going to have to go out and get pitching.
Yeah.
Because they are completely decimated. Great bullpen, and they play great defense. They're a tough team. They're a tough out.
Interesting team.
Tough out. By the way, Kirk Cousins has been cleared after that Achilles.
You like that?
How about that? Kirk Cousins is back.
You like that?
And then Aaron Rodgers back, both off Achilles.
What did I see about Kirk Cousins? How Atlanta has the easiest schedule in the NFL.
Yeah.
Steelers at Eagles versus Chiefs. That's a tough way to start. But then you go Saints, Bucks, Panthers, Seahawks, Bucks, Cowboys, Saints, Broncos, Chargers, Vikings, Raiders, Giants, Commanders, Panthers. Not so. There's no real easy schedule in the NFL, but
there's a good amount of winnable games on that
that's
schedule.
right. Yeah.
That's the
just
best way
because
to say it.
you play in the NFC South to begin with. So you're going Saints, Bucks, Panthers. Panthers good for 2 games. That
sleep on those
Panthers
Bucks.
team's a disaster, man.
Yeah, the organization is, and it starts with the top. We've talked about that with Tom Gores and the Detroit Pistons. That seemingly is getting under control a little bit.
Sorry about the yawn there, guys. Sorry about that.
Hey, look, man.
Yeah, I'm just
long day, man.
4 a.m. in the morning, correct? Call time.
4:30.
4:30 a.m. call time.
James likes you. He's keeping that camera right on you.
You don't have to apologize for that.
Hey, I got some holdouts to talk about, and
you know what?
hard knocks as well.
Do I have one more break I got to take?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll do that now, then we'll come back and do that.
Exactly.
But first, a message from Wake Up Woodward.
All right, Wake Up Woodward, the best morning show in the city of Detroit and really Michigan, man. Every day, 8 to 10 a.m., Monday through Friday, you join Kool-Aid, Flannel Sam, Broder, JB, and myself every morning as we cover all of Detroit sports talk, banter, and live fan interaction, all on Detroit's #1 sports network, that is Woodward Sports.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
Yo, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
The Ally Challenge presented by McLaren is back August 22nd through 25th at Warwick Hills and Grand Blanc. Be there for PGA Tour Champions Golf, Family Night, concerts, and more. Tickets start at just $15. Get yours at allychallenge.com today.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
How would you like to play the University of Michigan golf course with Braylon Edwards? It's Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour. Register today and you can round off a foursome with at woodwardsports.com or scan the QR code on the screen. When it comes to your next car or truck, make the wise decision. Randy Wise Automotive.
Join the best youth football league in Metro Detroit. It's the Boys and Girls Club of Southeastern Michigan's 3C Sports League. Offers youth ages 5 to 14 and 6 exciting teams to choose from in Detroit, Belleville, Highland Park, and East Point. All coaches are trained, certified, and undergo background checks, so you don't have to worry. These guys are legit, and women, by the way. Register for football or cheer at bgcsm.org. Equipment, meals, and transportation included, all for a chance to play for a championship at, you guessed it, Ford Field with the Detroit Lions play. $175 per child, all is included. Put the youth back in youth sports with BGCSM Sports.
Hey, we got our super chatter, our good buddy Dante.
He's back.
151. Put in
Shout
$5 to
Yeah,
tell us
baby.
about Dylan Cease of the Padres, the second no-hitter of the MLB season against the Nationals. The first one was Ronel Blanco of the Houston Astros. That was early in the season, and that guy has been, we're like, who the hell is Ronel Blanco?
Scuffling, though, now, I think.
But yeah, he's scuffling a little, but he's had a pretty damn good season. So thanks to Dante
All-star.
for the $5 and for reminding me about Ronel Blanco.
You know, I think Houston was like 12-24 at one point this season, and now Houston is 4 games over 500, now leading the AL West.
All without Justin Verlander.
Absolutely.
The only game he really had a great night
That's against Detroit,
against
right?
the Tigers. I was there.
Yeah.
But hopefully he gets to come back in the second half.
Absolutely.
Matt, you ready for a little on this day?
I love it.
One of your favorite players of all time is a baseball individual, played for the Pittsburgh Pirates. On this day, 7/25 in
What year?
1956.
56, okay.
1956, Roberto Clemente hit the only walk-off inside the park grand slam
Wow.
in Major League history. Whoever
Wow.
put that ball in the outfield,
Yeah.
all 3 should have been fired.
For real.
Amazing.
Only
How does that even
walk-off
happen?
inside the park grand slam ever.
My very
incredible.
first favorite player.
And that's
Roberto
why-
Clemente.
that's why I read it
Absolutely
for you.
love him. Loved what he did. And then gets 3,000 hits on his last at bat. And then unfortunately passes away on his way to help earthquake survivors in Nicaragua on New Year's Eve back in that. I think it was 72. 72 or
Rest in
73.
peace
It
to
was,
one of the greats.
it was horrible. So today I wore my Yankee jersey in. And Power Neck Jim here, James. It's like, man, this is number 4. Who's number 4? Kenny G's like, yeah, who's number 4? Is it Steve Balboni?
No,
Is it Steve Balboni? Who's number 4?
I told him it was Lou Gehrig.
It was Lou Gehrig. The great Lou Gehrig, number 4, the Iron Horse. I would only wear 2 numbers. I would wear number 2, and I'd wear number 4.
Does anybody know? James, do you know who 3 is? All right.
There you go. How about 5, James?
DiMaggio?
Yes!
There you go.
How about 7?
Ooh.
What about 6?
Wait, 7. 7 is over 6.
Okay. Well, I was just going in order.
Yes.
I couldn't tell you.
Mickey Mantle.
Okay.
6, Joe
Roger
Torre.
Maris? Or no?
Of course.
Yeah, okay. Mickey
I was
Mantle.
gonna ask him.
Mickey Mantle.
Okay, we were just going.
Okay. Number 8, James.
Roger Maris.
No.
Who?
Yogi Berra.
Number 1.
Billy Martin.
Martin.
Now batting number 2.
Derek
Jeter.
Jeter.
Number 2.
Number 2. Shortstop.
Something great.
Number
dude.
2.
That's
Bob
great.
Shepard.
So I started watching the Hard Knocks last night, and I fell asleep. So I got to watch it again. I put it on 10 minutes later. I was out. I cannot wait. But from what I deduce from watching Hard Knocks off season is that John Mara, the owner of the New York Giants, believes that his general manager Joe Shane
He's a clown.
is a dummy.
Yeah,
horrible.
I think
how is he still
from what
employed?
I gather, John Mara thinks Joe Shane is not smart.
Look, you hired the guy. You got to let the guy do the job, right?
I know.
He ain't
And
doing a
now
good job.
John Mara's brother is now in on this, having meetings with Joe Shane. Please explain who's the executive director of player personnel or something like that. But like the family, the Mara family is like, what is this guy doing to our organization? I really believe that. But
Now,
Dable thinks his crap don't stink.
Oh, yeah. And now, wait till you
Dable
see him.
thinks-
He lost weight. Him and his wife.
Yeah.
They lost a lot of weight. Wait till you see him on the sidelines now. His head's really going to be big.
Dable thinks that when he goes to the bathroom, he walks out and it doesn't stink.
Yeah.
So
I'm
I
openly
get that.
rooting against the New York Giants right now.
Oh.
So, like, the funniest thing is Brian Daboll. Well, not the funniest thing, but Brian Daboll was offensive coordinator when I was in Cleveland my last year in 2009. He came in with Aaron Mangini. He used to walk around because he was on the staff with Bill Belichick. I think Daboll, I want to say he has a ring. Let me think. I think it was 09. I think he either has a ring or he was on the team that lost to the Giants the very first time. So, no, but he walked around. He was like, oh, we did this, and oh, we did that, and Bill did this, and I did that, and blah, blah, blah. I was like, I never heard your name before today. You know what I'm saying? Like just relax a little bit. So when I saw him have success, like 100%, like I'm like, did Bill do this or did you do this? Like, were you running around, where you were?
Sounds like Matt Patricia.
100%. Like, he always rubbed me the wrong way, but he had success with Buffalo. He did really good with that offense, Josh Allen. And that's who he is, though. That blow up on the sideline, like I've seen that blow up before, and now
So
he's the head
good.
coach, so it's a little different.
When I see Ryan folding his papers, I look at the thing and see if it's 55
Well,
yet.
no, I
it's
mean, I
not
was just gonna
55
get-
yet. So let me get a Hard Knocks in for you.
You, sir, are a dummy.
Let me get a Hard Knocks in for you.
But the Mara family's part of that too. Not to cut you off, man. They're part of that too because they drafted Daniel Jones. They interviewed. They wanted Daniel Jones. They said
Yeah.
it reminded them.
Well, they
of
listen to
Eli
Gettleman.
100%. It said it reminded them of Eli Manning.
Yep.
So they felt safe. They say he's an Eli guy. We can make this happen. Everybody's at fault.
Yeah.
So they had all 3 top wide receivers
I can't
in
wait
at
to
once.
see this.
This is great. So check this out. This is the Giants with Daboll and Shane and the rest of their staff interviewing Malik Neighbors, Roma Dunze, and Marvin Harrison. Check it out.
We motion Richie across. The corner's over and he runs over. What do you got, Lee? What you gonna tell Daniel as you go past him? On this leg. Huh? You gonna tell me run the slant, predetermined? Or you gonna say? Keep it low. I'm open. That's what the I'm talking about. What's the break point right here, Ron?
+1.
+1. Minimum. If you can be +2, great. Okay. Right? We don't got to shrink it down in there. Right? In fact, okay, this young man's dad get to the Hall of Fame on his play.
He's caught more passes than any player in league history in a single season.
5-yard ends.
Yeah, 5-yard ends.
The wide usually run a seam though.
Yeah.
A seam or the corner off of it.
I love it. We draft all three of you guys, man, huh? This ride, you know what I'm saying? That was good. Really good. Best ever. Okay? Excellent. Excellent.
So you're on the clock right now. You got to make a decision. One of those three.
I take Neighbors.
When they asked, I forgot who it was in the room, who would you draft of those three? They loved Malik Neighbors, number one of the three receivers. Braylon, I'm going to ask you, Malik Neighbors, Marvin Harrison, or Rome Odunze. If you had the choice right now of those three, what order would you put them in?
I go Marvin, Malik, and Rome. I think they all have a chance to be really special in this league. I think all the teams that they're on, they have opportunities, especially this particular year. You look at Rome Odunze, he's going to benefit from having Keenan Allen as well as DJ Moore. You look at Marvin Harrison Jr., he's got Kyler Murray, and Kyler Murray know that it's this year for him or not, because he knows a lot of people have forgotten about him. A lot of people don't think he can play that position at this level at a high end. So he's got a guy that's trying to improve.
Who's the coach there?
Gannon.
Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah, Jonathan Gannon. That's right. Yeah.
Jonathan Gannon. And then Malik Neighbors, I put him at 2, man. Malik Neighbors is going to be with the Giants. It's going to be a little tougher for him with Daniel Jones, but he does have Brian Daboll, who, as much as he is a you-know-what, he does understand that offense. You saw what he was able to do with Josh Allen, who's a much better quarterback. So I think it's Marvin Harrison, though. Like, he's number one. And I know a lot of people will take Malik Neighbors. I watched what he did. He can run every route in the book. He's a bigger receiver than his father. He has great control to be a 6'3" wide receiver. He can go up and get it, and he can run by you. So I think Marvin Harrison is special. Like, his dad is his dad's one of the most underrated players in NFL history, especially at that position. So he had that in the house.
Yeah.
The whole time he grew up. I think it's going to be tough for those two to be better than Marvin Harrison Smith.
Yeah.
I'm Junior.
There's also another scene you'll see, Rye, where Joe Shane's at home with his family, and he's got his 3 kids. He's got a son and 2 daughters. And he asked them all who they would take, what quarterback they would take. And his son right away, hey, Jaden Daniels, Dad. Hey, you only get this job once. You got to take Jaden Daniels. And then his little girl points to, what's the guy that Patriots took?
Drake May.
His wife says some other name. Oh, J.J. McCarthy. I like the way he looks. He's a good-looking kid, that kind of thing. So you look at him that way as a father, and I don't want to root against the guy. I really don't want to root against the guy.
No, I don't either. I don't want it.
He looks like a real nice dude.
I don't want anybody
like the way he treated Saquon.
Right. I mean,
that was a crappy phone call he made to Saquon. And they asked Saquon, and they said, how'd you know? He's like, when Joe made that call to me and asked me and told me I could go out and test the waters, I knew it was over.
See, and here's where I will root for him and root for the Giants this year is, unless there was a forced situation, not too many teams would welcome off-season cameras in. Yeah. This show is so great because this is exactly what the sports fan wants to see.
Yep.
The football fan wants to see. All the behind the draft, the free agency, how trades get done. And I'll guarantee you, if you had this video in Carolina and some of the other places, you'd have the exact same, questions happening. Right. Sports fans would think that this guy doesn't know X, Y, or Z about anything. So
we all know more than them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Bray, get us out of here, my friend.
Another great day for Ermanni Edwards-Madison. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Peace by back on the TD booth as well as James.
Hulkster didn't make it, I guess. Huh?
Hulkster didn't make it, but like we told you in the beginning, we said this is something that could be taken.
Once I saw that there were 400 people, 300 or 400 people in St. Clair Shores at 2 o'clock.
The Shores.
I just didn't think there was an opportunity to get them here. So anyway, we tried. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys. Training camp, day 3 tomorrow. We'll have more for you, and we'll be back, man. So tune in to Woodward Sports and Armanni Edwards with Maz. We'll have more for you. It's going to be a fun show tomorrow, so buckle up. See ya.